Hi, everyone. This is Dawn from Pittsburgh Brides, the Point Podcast. And today I have a bittersweet day. I have Amelia Jankowski.
Hello.
Hello. She has interned with us from IUP. And Professor Nicole Clevenger and Professor Wong recruited her to do some interning, and
Yeah.
she selected us, Pittsburgh
Yes.
Brides. And I'm so fortunate for that. I've truly enjoyed this summer with you,
Me too.
and I'm sad to see you go.
I know. Me
It was
too.
fun,
It
right?
was fun.
So we made the internship very unique and different than any other internship because it's just my nature to make things unique and different. And so because we're a community-driven platform, I wanted Amelia to have experiences with other professionals in the industry. And so we sent her out to work with other wedding planners, decorators, coordinators, other professionals that are within our umbrella from Pittsburgh Brides. And I want to hear a little bit about each of her experiences with each of them. And if this is knowledge that's good for you, our brides, because she has an outsider perspective of what it was like to work with each one of these individuals.
Definitely. I had a lot of fun working with everybody, getting to know everyone's process and see how they do things in the industry, but I had a great time.
And so your first event was kind of one that was challenging a little
Yeah,
bit,
definitely.
right? So, and as much as we try to plan the perfect wedding day,
Some things can go wrong.
some things are out of your control, like the weather, right?
Definitely. So the first wedding I did was with Cara from Caristia events, and we had a beautiful sunny day. It was the beginning of June, and it started downpouring right before the ceremony, a few minutes before they were lining everyone up. So we kind of had to change the plans, steer a little bit of a different direction, but we kind of made it all work. Everybody came together to move things. It was just very nice.
Yeah, I understand
Mhm.
from what I've heard from you and Cara that you literally had to flip the ceremony into an indoor space. It was a
Yes.
pretty good sized wedding
Yeah,
too.
it was around like 100 guests.
Okay.
So it was a lot of logistics to move, and we moved it onto a covered like deck in the
Okay.
back. So it was a lot of people to move, decorations to move,
Yeah.
and kind of get everybody situated.
And then didn't we have to do something to open cocktail hour a little early or something? There was something that you
Yeah.
did to make sure that the guests were comfortable. What was that?
Yes. So while we were moving all of the decor and kind of getting everyone out of the rain, we still had some logistical things to work out, moving the music and the decor, everything. So while we were doing that, we kind of changed the path of it a little bit, and all the guests, we opened cocktail hour before the ceremony. So they had kind of something to do to distract them from all the chaos.
Smart, really smart, because you needed some time to flip.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
Probably 45 minutes, maybe, I
Yeah.
would think,
Hmm.
best given scenario, and as I understood it, a lot of the vendors stepped up to help.
Yes, definitely. The DJ that was there was fantastic. The bartenders were fantastic. They hopped right into it. They were a little late for a different reason, but everyone kind of stepped up and did their part and helped us out a lot.
Yeah, and I heard that you learned that it's all hands on deck on a situation like that, and
Definitely.
she was cutting lemons for the
Yeah.
bartenders.
I hopped in. I was down in the reception area kind of setting up florals and candles and things, and Cara called me and was like, "We need help up here." So I ran up in the rain and started cutting lemons for the bartenders, kind of just getting it all cuz we were 45 minutes early-ish for the
Right,
cocktail hour.
right,
Yeah.
and it was so smart on her part
Mhm.
to open that bar,
Yes,
so that
definitely.
people were not just standing there looking at their watch with no food, no drink, no anything,
And they were wet.
and they were
Yeah,
wet.
so
That makes it even
yeah,
worse.
definitely.
But everything
Mhm.
from that point forward, it seems like, everything
Mhm.
flowed
It
like
did.
a wedding should. We're working with a very talented wedding planner.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit what you learned from Cara Svetkovitch from Caristia Events.
So I definitely learned from that specifically that there is always going to be a little bit of a roadblock depending upon what it is, whether it's the cake topper falling off the cake and destroying half the cake. You kind of have to bring everyone together in that sense to put out the fire.
Yeah. Do you think, and I've had this conversation over and over again about the value of knowing and having a really good vibe for the people that you hire
Hmm.
as your vendors, and in this case scenario, how that unfolded for that particular couple.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like having vendors that are willing to step up and go that extra mile, and if that's not their job, that they're still gonna like step in. So with the cake topper incident, the florist stepped in and put some florals on the cake to kind of hide the incident that there was. So just in that like everyone comes together as a community to
Yeah.
make this wedding happen, make it as perfect as possible.
Yeah, it's game day,
Mhm.
and we have to get, we have to get the touchdown. We have to
Yes.
win. We have to bring it home. And, that's a big part about being in the wedding industry and understanding that you're not clocking in, you're not clocking out, that you have to be fluid. I tell everyone we're water. You have to be
Definitely.
fluid, because if you believe that a contract is going to be this time to this time and then you're done, you're in the wrong business. You should probably get out,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
you have human behavior, you have weather, you have traffic, you have all these things that are out of your control. And the best type A personality that's planning their wedding with their binder and their book and all their Pinterest pictures and everything, they may not foresee or forecast these type of things.
Definitely. Yeah, I think the weather, especially if it's like an outdoor summer, fall wedding, that is definitely something you have to consider.
Yeah.
I had another wedding that right before the reception, it started to pour down rain and it was just a disaster. Wind is a factor if you're like up on a hill, and then obviously like snow in the winter, you kind of
Yeah.
have to like think ahead on everything that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, would you recommend Cara?
Yeah, I loved working with Cara. She was very organized. Her communication was on point. So I feel like she was a great planner to work with.
She's a calm in a storm too.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's a really important gift to have. Okay, and then you also worked with my buddy, Jeff
Hmm.
Double,
Yes.
right? I love him. So Jeff owns All About Reclaimed, which is he has a warehouse inventory out in Butler, just all types of decor that he rents, from everything from lanterns to ladders to florals to
Yes.
draping and piping and sofas, and yeah,
Chandeliers. Yes.
chandeliers. He has all
Beautiful.
kinds of very eclectic things and he comes in and sets up and does decor. So tell me a little bit about your day with Jeff Double.
Yeah, so we were at a equestrian farm, so it was really cool and unique experience to see how something would be set up of that like scale. So I helped him and his team, which they were wonderful. They were all very hands on deck. I helped them set up decor and do some last minute things. He also does florals, very beautiful floral arrangements. So that was really nice to kind of see that process as well.
So did everything go smoothly? Do you have any fires that day?
Nothing really notable. There were a few changes with the decor. He had like larger, like, I don't even know, like floral arrangements around chandeliers and things that last minute, like we wanted to move those to a different location.
Mm.
So just kind of working with him and a few of his team members to get everything necessary to a different location. That was kind of the only thing that was really different.
And sometimes it's just a matter of seeing it in the space
Yeah.
and saying, this doesn't work here, I'm going to move it. And
Yeah.
it's
It doesn't look
probably what
right.
he said,
Yeah.
right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And and Jeff has been in the business a long time.
Yes.
I'm going to say 30 years, maybe more.
Yeah.
So tell me, what did you notice about Jeff that was his gift?
Yeah, I would say, like, with that scenario, eye for detail, just seeing that doesn't really look right there, seeing things that are just a little bit crooked, but he notices.
Okay.
And so just things like that that people wouldn't think about, just eye for detail with the decor,
Yeah,
things
I
like that.
love that. A discerning eye.
Like,
That's a really
mhm.
important part of being in this business and being a planner. It's not just about how organized you are or what
Yeah.
great taste you have, but having a discerning eye and being able to say, "Ooh, there's something not right here.
Hmm.
Oh, I know what it is." And being able to pinpoint it and hit the mark on those aesthetics. So I know that the answer to this question, but I have to ask, would you recommend Jeff?
Yes, definitely. If you're thinking about something that is anything decor, like you said, he has hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of decor, furniture, anything. So I feel like if you have a vision, he can definitely bring it to life.
Yeah, and I believe with Jeff that he can bring it and deliver it and set and
Yes.
decor, or sometimes I think he does à la carte where you can come to his warehouse and pick items and rent them if it's a smaller wedding and
Yeah,
maybe you just need lanterns or you just need a sofa or something like that. And
definitely.
he works with his wife, Mary, and she's a doll.
Yes. Everyone with his team was lovely. They were very welcoming and helpful. because they know what they're doing. They come in, but from an outsider, they were very helpful in telling me like how they run things in a way. So,
Yeah. And you went in dark, like you'd never met him or anything. You
no,
just showed up
yes,
event day and worked with him. So that speaks highly of how they function as a team, because sometimes there's this, you're a little bit disoriented when you're going inside to a new place and you're like, I don't know what
I don't know these people. I don't know.
and to make you feel comfortable and warm and welcome and a part of the team.
Yeah.
And he told me that afterwards. He said she was amazing. He's like, I am so glad that I had her there. And so did Cara, by the way. So let's move on to Emilee Baran.
Yeah.
She is also a wedding planner. She works with her husband. What is her husband's name?
Alex.
Alex, thank you. And so Emilee, did she use you once or twice?
I worked with her one event at the mansion at Heartwood.
Okay, beautiful venue.
Yes, I loved it. I've never been to the mansion, so it was really nice to kind of see that aspect of Heartwood.
And then they have the pavilion, and that's where the reception is, right?
Yes.
It's not actually in the mansion. It's in the pavilion.
Yes.
That's right next to it.
Mhm.
And so this is a situation where weather came into play,
Yes.
correct?
Yes. So how Heartwood is situated, it's kind like the pavilion that this receptions would be in is kind of surrounded by trees and it's up on a hill a little bit. So the wind would come through and knock down all of our little dainty centerpieces. So we kind of had to set the centerpieces and then run around and make sure they all had water from falling and things like that. So once we set menu cards and things like that, the water would kind of fall and we would just have to make sure everything looked how it was supposed to be before like guests arrived and things like that.
Yeah, kind of like the people that are in the boat and there's a hole and you plug it, and then there's another hole and then you plug it. And so I know I think this was the first wedding that you had two different locations. You had a ceremony location and then you had a reception location.
Yeah.
So tell me logistically how that worked for the day.
Yeah. So whenever I arrived, it was just me and Alex there kind of doing linens and things like that, kind of unloading trucks. And Emilee was at the church doing the ceremony. So she had a list of things that needed to be accomplished for the reception. So we kind of checked those off. And then when she got back, she came in all hands on deck and helped us out with that kind of stuff. But it was interesting to see how having two people is, if you're doing two separate locations, having two people is important.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't duplicate yourself.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
And it's hard sometimes too, because I think a lot of people, communication is the key, because you have to have it all documented. You have to have it all scripted. We're doing a wedding for a family in need on Sunday. And I know you know a little bit about this, but dad is really sick. And so they have pushed up the wedding from November 26th to Sunday.
Yeah.
Like it's happening really soon. We put this wedding together for them in 21 days. And when we move that up, there's the dynamic of, all these changes last minute. And, it's so important, the communication aspect. We just had a call last night and it was myself and two other wedding planners. And we just want to make sure that like everybody is on the same page, right? Everybody has all the information. We're not overlooking anything. We're not adding anything unnecessarily. And it was a good conversation, because we don't want to have to go up to the couple the day of and say, what do you want us to do? It's raining. We want to have a contingency plan already in place. We want to know, what are we going to do with the cake after we cut the cake? Like we want to work out all those little details. And I think sometimes people assume that the wedding planner is just going to be able to, handle all of that. And especially in the case where you have two different locations. In this case, we're upstairs, downstairs at this venue, which is Glen Eden Barn. David English, I adore you. Thank you for helping us with this wedding. But so we have to transport everybody by cart from downstairs to upstairs, going from ceremony cocktail downstairs to upstairs to the wedding reception. And there's a lot of logistics in that, even though it's in the same space, right? So it was really important that communication is key. And I know that all of these planners have done a really good job of keeping you in the loop.
Yes, definitely.
On the email threads, and some of them even allowed you to be in the conversation with the couples, correct?
Yeah, so I like some last minute emails between vendors and brides and things like that. I just kind of seen it from like the back end, the communication, everything you need to do before like the week of the wedding, technically, and calls with the planners before. I'm just going over what they'd like me to do, what they'd like me to focus on while they're at the ceremony per se.
So tell me, would you recommend weddings, Emilee, to any bride that you know?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like her and Alex both had like a great team aspect. Like he was very hands-on, she was hands-on, and she kind of had the same eye for detail with the decor and florals and things like that. So I feel like just the communication, and she also brought a very like calming presence. She wasn't stressed or
Yeah.
anything, at least from the outside. She
Yeah.
didn't come across as stressed. So it was a very good time with them as well.
That's really important.
Mhm.
And a lot of people, a lot of couples I know, they're on the shelf whether they need a planner or not. And what they don't realize is like, I've planned the perfect wedding, they're type A personality, and maybe they're a production manager or they manage teams at their office. So that they already have some of those skills set to be able to communicate well and organize things. But what they don't understand is what can go wrong.
Especially if you're a bride and you're getting your
Yeah.
hair and makeup done and
Yeah.
starts raining or something else happens, you're not down there to kind of manage that. So
Yeah.
having someone else to go over that, manage it, make sure
Sure.
it's all
I'll tell you my little story real quick
Mhm.
about Heartwood Acres. We did an event there. We had the photo booth there. They had a bar service there. They had one of those mobile bars that was like a trailer, and we brought the camper photo booth in. And the wedding was supposed to be at 3 o'clock, but the bride had her makeup done and did not like her makeup that was done, had to have it all removed and had her girlfriend do it. So that put the bride behind about an hour
Yeah.
from the ceremony time. Meantime, it's July
Mhm.
and it's hot. It's like
Yes.
3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the venue didn't have access to water. There was no place to go to get water for some reason. And the bar did not have water and was technically not supposed to open until the ceremony was over, which hadn't happened yet, right?
Yeah.
So we have these big round tubs that we carry equipment in. So I told the boys, I gave them money and I was like, go down and get bags of ice and get a couple cases of water and let's ice that down. And we did. Like we got 4 cases of water and we iced it down. And I made sure that my staff gave everybody water because there were some elderly there. Like, and I was like, I felt so bad. I was like, you have to have water in this situation. And of course, the bride and groom are busy doing what they're doing,
Yeah.
getting ready for the wedding. But that's one of those scenarios of the vendor, going the extra mile for you because they see a problem and they know they can fix it. And it didn't cost me that
Yeah.
much. My employee was there, but it may have saved one of those elderly people from passing out. And I think that's part of hiring good vendors for your wedding is, knowing that you've hired people that really care about how the day unfolds for you and that they have eyes on things even when you don't and they see those type of things. So we did Cara, Jeff, and Emilee. And then who else did we work with?
Let me think. You and Pittsburgh Brides, Elite, and Emmy did a little bit of everything.
Okay. So we did a really fun event together.
Yes, we did.
So, and we could probably tell you who it was for, but we'd have to kill you because no, I'm just kidding. We do an event out in Seven Springs every year for the Allegheny Bar Association. They have a convention there. And so I brought Amelia on to help me with that. And it was their 60th year celebration. We had 500 attorneys, judges across the board, all
Yeah.
from Allegheny County. And we did a 60s theme event because they were celebrating their 60th
years.
year. So talk a little bit about the event, what you learned.
Yeah, so it was a really nice event. I liked the space. It was very fitting for the size of like the guest list, I'd
Yeah.
say. But there were a couple things that we knew going into it that would kind of be a little bit of a struggle, but like we figured it out.
Yeah.
All the tables were going to be different colors. So we had
Yeah.
7 colors and an even amount of tables. So we kind of had to make sure none of the colors were
Yeah.
together.
The catering staff was trying to figure it out.
Yes.
And that's when I kiboshed the catering staff and I was like, Amelia,
Let's try to figure this out.
let's figure this out.
So we kind of went around and made sure everything there was no colors together and stuff like that. So that was something that we kind of had to use our eye for detail for. And I just kind of went around, did the centerpieces and things like that.
And you were great
Thank you.
in a foxhole because I was dealing with a little technology problem with the photo booth.
Yes.
And sometimes technology fails. It's the best thing in the world, when it's working well, but when it's not, and you are in Seven Springs and you have Wi-Fi issues because you're in the middle of nowhere, even though we had a hot spot, we had this technology issue and everything was running perfect. and we got it all working. And then all of a sudden, bam, it just stopped working. And we were like, and I just looked at Amelia. I was like, okay, I'm throwing the baby into the pool. You've got to handle this part of it, which we had promised the client, Marianne, that we would make sure that everything looked beautiful. And that's where we saw that the catering was struggling with the 7 colors. And they were having a problem on the tables where they were putting the colors next to each other. And I was like, and they're like, we can't figure this out. And I was like, Amelia, it's a mathematical problem, right? You want to explain the math to them?
Yeah. So we had, I believe it was an even amount of tables.
With 50 tables.
Okay. So yeah, we had 50 tables and then 7 colors.
Right.
So there was going to be a little bit of clash somewhere. So we just kind of had to move it around and make sure there wasn't.
Right.
So
by one table, because 7 times 7 is 49. So we could evenly disperse the colors except for that one table.
Yeah.
And they early on, they were having trouble with that. They couldn't figure that out. And I was like, let's just, we kind of created like a caterpillar of colors so that blue was on this side here and on this side here and made it work. And then you did such a great job on placing all the centerpieces for them and decorating them as well. She had different centerpieces that were different heights that had like a hippie vibe to it. This event was total dope. Marianne, I love you. Like your creative thought process when she comes up with this stuff. And there was a band. You didn't get to see the band. If you're hiring a band for your wedding, go to You Pick and contact them. They were off the chain. They played for 4 hours straight. 4 hours straight.
That is
They had 4 singers and they were doing everything from old school in the 60s because of the theme of the party, going all the way to doing something contemporary. So just an amazing experience. And they had go-go dancers and roller skaters and all kinds of these unexpected elements. This is what I love about what I do, is that it's not cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Like every event that we do is a little different. I know that you worked another event with us for Giant Eagle Pharmacy. We do an event for them every year. And we've been doing it every year for them for almost, I think I'm going to say almost 10 years. And one year they changed it to do something different. And she told me that night, she pulled me aside and she said, it didn't go over too good. They missed you. So we did a casino party.
Yeah.
And you got to see how that unfolded.
Yeah, definitely. I got to see how the casino end of like elite casino events rolls and met the team, and they were all very welcoming again and very sweet. So, and also Emmy was there as well, Emmy photo booth. So I just kind of was the photo booth attendant for the night, got to hang out with everybody, and it was really fun.
You had my job for the night.
Yeah.
She got to help everybody find their inner diva and have fun and dress up. And who doesn't love to dress up?
Yeah.
Like that's something we learned when we were a child. That's the one thing about the photo booth that I love. Whatever your thoughts are of a photo booth, grown adults love to get dressed up and be silly. They do.
They were loving it.
Yeah. And the more alcohol they have in them, the more they love it. I just love making people forget about their troubles for a little while. That's what I love about what I do. And when I walk into a party and I can hear everybody smiling and laughing and having a good time, then I know I hit the mark and I'm delivering what exactly my purpose is and what I want to do with my life. And I was really glad that you were able to experience like all these different experiences, from a corporate event to a themed event that was very specific and unique to, different weddings, different locations with different planners. On this journey, tell me what you learned that was maybe a little bit unexpected to you.
Yeah. So going into the internship like field this summer, I was very, I don't know if I want to say stuck, but I was like, I'm going to go somewhere, go to an event, and that's going to be it. Like, I'm just going to do events and things like that. So having the experience of doing marketing with you with Pittsburgh Brides, working with wedding planners, seeing the corporate side of things, I feel like it was a very 360 experience to get my hands in every kind of field in the events.
Yeah, and you got to really touch base with the consumer being a part of Pittsburgh Brides as well. If you didn't notice, she's in the group and posting things and commenting on things and giving advice and sharing tools and assets with our couples. One of the important things of any business owner or whether you're a manager or a director, event coordinator, venue coordinator, wedding planner, corporate event planner, whichever path that you take with hospitality, it's really important to know your base.
Yes.
And read the room and know what they're looking for, know what they want. I think that's the most valuable part of Pittsburgh Brides and what we bring for the vendors is that they can see firsthand like what's trending, what people are looking for. I'm seeing a lot of smaller cakes, requests for
Yeah.
smaller cakes. I'm seeing a lot of requests for a reception only where they're getting married one day, maybe at the courthouse or at a church, and then they're doing a rad party on a Saturday night for
Mhm.
4 hours, which I totally
I
love.
love that as
Yeah,
well.
because it's not such a long day for us,
Mhm.
but you keep the energy of the event,
Mhm.
right? Because the energy is pumped up. But I love what I do for a living. I think it's a great career path to get into hospitality because you can go into corporate, you can go into tourism, you can go into casino. I advised you on that to kind
Yeah.
of explore that, maybe do an internship at one of the casinos because that's has longevity and that's always interesting and different. You get a little bit of both corporate and wedding. But it has been a pleasure to have you on staff, and I would say I would be remiss if I didn't say I was gonna miss you a little bit because 'cause it's
I
been
know.
natural and fun
Yeah.
and easy working with you. Professor Wong and Nicole, thank you so much for sending Amelia our way, and send me some more just like her, and we'll try and get them connected,
Yeah.
and I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping that by next summer that we'll have several interns that'll wanna join the team and assist some of these planners and get the
Yeah.
same experience that you did. Do you feel that at the end of the day that it superseded your expectations?
Yeah. Like I said going into it, I was like, it's gonna be a cookie cutter experience, and I feel like this has heightened my, like, education for the internship and everything, so I'm very grateful for you allowing me to come on and giving me the trust to
Thank you for that.
execute. Yeah.
Thank you for that. It was fun. We
That
had
was
fun.
fun.
It was fun. And it also has value for the brides too, because now they're hearing from your side what your experience was with each one of those professionals, which is better than an endorsement that anybody wrote,
Yeah.
right? Because you're not being paid, you're not being, you're just there on site and you're learning and you're watching through their eyes and seeing what they do. So I think that's incredibly valuable. If any of you brides out there are shopping for decor, planners, all of that. I think that Amelia would say you should at least have a conversation with Cara
Mhm.
from Caristia Events, Emilee from Weddings, Jeff Double from All About Reclaimed.
Yes.
Any one of those, our talents could help you with your wedding.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. And I know your favorite was the one that Seven Springs. It was fun. It was fun.
Very
It
fun.
was your first one, wasn't it? Was that your first one?
Yes, it was my first.
I was like, "Oh my god, all these little things are going wrong."
That's
Her
okay.
first one. So I'm just gonna throw the baby in the wa and you learn from it,
Yeah, definitely.
which was really good, and the room was beautiful. Amelia, thank you so much, and I hope that your journey moving forward, you're gonna take marketing as well
Yes.
now?
So originally I was hospitality only, but now I think I'm gonna add that marketing minor just to get an extra topic.
So your
Yay.
experience here with me kinda gave you a passion for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
being able to connect
Mhm.
with the community. That makes my soul very happy. All right, dear. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for being with me. All right, we're signing off, Pittsburgh
All right.
Brides. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.